having. So what I was saying is that suppose I have developed a software which is for a particular machine. Now, due to development, you are having a new microprocessor or new CPU. Now, you suppose your CPU is upgraded. So either you take the same program software which you were using old, that new uh, microprocessor or new CPU which you have introduced will not be able to give you anything because your machine is behaving just as if it was old CPU. In order to make uh, in order to take the advantage of new CPU, what you have to do is that your software has to be upgraded. When your software has to be upgraded, then uh, it is not so that you have to start afresh. That is what the advantage of uh, object-oriented programming and more so of inheritance is. And during the lecture, you will understand what I mean to say is that कि जो कुछ अभी आपके पास है, you have certain properties, certain features with you in your software, and now you want to introduce more features, more properties in the software, then the old program can become a base class and you can create a new derived class which inherit all the properties of what you call uh, old software plus whatever new features which you want to introduce in the program or in the software. And that's why I say inheritance is very important. I create a class I'm using for 20 years. Now somebody say I this is out of dated and I want to do something like this. But for me, your program is the base. I want to use it. And then he will take my program, which is written in OOP, and then he will derive new class which you want to introduce and introduce his features. So half of the work is already done. That work is not lost. It is not going to waste. And that's what called reusability. It is because of inheritance. So friends, we will discuss, as I said to you, inheritance is a fundamental property of the object-oriented programming. If inheritance is not there, object-oriented programming is not there because you cannot have much thing, cannot have much thing. I'm telling you frankly, object-based cannot give you much thing, but it is the inheritance which give you what you should have in the software. So uh, uh, I will discuss what is the inheritance, then how to assess those things, and then I come to the further things. So, so what is inheritance? As I said in the beginning also, inheritance is a natural phenomenon and is a sign of evolution. If you and I both exist, it's because of the inheritance. And same way, if you see around you something new, a new TV, a new car, it is because it has its old ancestor. This old ancestor has been given some new feature, something new which is better than the previous one, and that's why uh, you like it. So inheritance is really a fundamental property, natural phenomenon, and it is a sign of evolution. If you are evolving, you will be having always new thing. Literal meaning of inheritance is deriving properties from your ancestor. That's what we say. If I have some uh, uh, features, then somebody sees my brother also, then he says, yeah, they are both are brothers because some of the feature of me and of my brother, they are common. And you can't avoid it. The way your parent talk, some way or other, you be very smart. One way, somehow somebody can see that this native is from that place or he speaks like that. So you always inherit some of the features or properties of your parents. Then in C++, the meaning of inheritance is inheriting the properties or features from the present or parent class and to introduce a new class that is called subclass or child class or derived class. So the parent class we call as a base class, and inherited class is known as the derived class or child class. Generally, we say base class and the derived class. Now, some examples before I go to my theory. So, I create a class called parent. I give parent name here, and then I create a what you call then I create a derived class. So please see that the derived class is what you call uh, derived as class child, which is I am deriving, but I am writing colon public parent. So somehow class child is connected to parent. And now I'm saying that public parent, meaning is that the properties of a parent class are inherited publicly. So whatever the public members of a base class are there, they will be automatically become public member of the child class. You will see more things. So this is a class, so this class is over. This is a class, this class is over. Then I write main function. So I create a object of child base derived class, and I say give the name of your name. Then, as you know, in some state in India, you have uh, uh, your name and your father name along with it. So, Yaswant Rao, Balwant Rao Chauhan. So, Yaswant, his name, and Balwant, his father name. So, same way here, uh, I get the name of C dot name. Then I say, please enter the name of, this is just copy and paste. So I correct it. But never mind, I have to make so many slide and is out of pressure, things happen. So you have what do you call your uh, parent name. So you give the parent name. Now you may ask me, the class called child does not have P name at all. Yes, it doesn't have. But when I say class child is a child of his parent publicly, so whatever the public members are there, they will be automatically become member of the derived class. So P name is automatically, though it is hidden here, automatically comes here. And that's why I'm saying is that C in C dot P name, because I can do so. Then I say you just write your name and write your parent name, though this is the object of the what you call child, but uh, um, as I say, child is inheriting the properties of the parent and he is publicly, so it is coming here. So this is my, just to give you brief idea. Then I take another example, uh, which is called uh, class bird. Now, when I say class bird, when you see, if tell you that a parrot is a bird, yeah, hen is a bird, then you understand what I mean to say. So the bird is a larger class which has a certain feature, certain properties. Uh, a pen cannot be called a bird. For that matter, a cow cannot be called a bird because their features are different. So I am just define the class of bird, and then one of the main features of the uh, bird class is that they have two legs, they have feathers, and then they can fly. I'm not writing all the properties, but to make my point that a bird can fly, so I write a function, the property or the trait, uh, bird fly, and I say just to let you know that every word can fly. Then out of so many words, I just create a, one of the class of words called crow. And crow is having certain features which is not common to uh, all the birds. A parrot is different than what do you call your uh, peacock, and peacock is different than a crow. So what you have is a crow, and it is uh, deriving, inheriting the properties of word publicly. So whatever the properties which I have introduced above, that is the fly function. Please keep in mind the previous program is a data member publicly. Here I have deriving, or we are inheriting the public member function in the derived class. So when I say public bird, meaning is that the properties of the bird which are publicly available are automatically become member of the public class because crow inherits some properties of the bird. And I just say that sound or voice, see out, cow, cow, cow. That's the voice of the crow. And you can understand now that I can create object of bird, I can create object of crow, and crow will inherit the property of flying from the bird. So if I create crow C, then C dot fly, because it is a bird, so C should have the properties of bird. So a crow can fly, so any object of crow can fly. And then all object of the crow type, they give same kind of sound. So I can write C dot sound, so ये उस object का आपको what you call sound सुनाई देगी. So, friends, I have given two examples what I mean by inheritance. So you have a base class which you can create, and you tell everybody that these are the functions which are, these are the features, these are the data members available in my class, these are the public thing, these are the private thing. Then something called protected also come in the picture. And then they have their own meaning, which I will take duration in the during of my lecture. But what I mean to say is there is something called uh, base class, and somebody wants to have more property, take that base class, inherit is publicly or protected or privately, and then one can have more features uh, in the derived class. So we notice that there is a larger class called base class or parent class. Bird is larger class. Parent uh, is having more properties than the child. That's the meaning. This class has some features, say A and B. So I have some features in parent class. There are a number of subclasses of base class. क्योंकि कई क्लास सब क्लास और चाइल्ड क्लास हो सकती है, जिनमें दोनों फीचर हो सकते हैं या वन ऑफ द फीचर हो सकता है. तो क्योंकि आप कहते हैं कि वो पेरेंट से ड्राइव हो रहा है, तो कम से कम एक फीचर तो उसका पेरेंट का होना चाहिए, तभी मैं कहूंगा कि ये, और जो चीज पेरेंट्स की जो मेन फीचर है वो शुड बी, दैट शुड बी देयर इन द डिराइव्ड क्लास. each sub each subclass of base class inherits its feature A and B. I can say A or B also. Subclass may have its own extra feature which make it different than other subclass of the base class. तो आप जैसे मैंने कहा कि एक crow is different than peacock or parrot. So you cannot have some features of both, all three are birds, but they are different in shape, size, and uh, features. Now, this is important, please. Uh, and during the course of my lecture, I will be using, so please try to understand. When we say it is a derived class, so thus each subclass has is a relation with its base class. What I mean to say is, if I tell you a car is a vehicle, so vehicle is a base class, car is a vehicle type class. And then, so class car will become derived class and vehicle will become larger class, which is the base class. Same way, uh, if I say animal, so a dog is an animal. So you understand now. So a dog is an animal, meaning is that animal is the larger class and dog is one class, subclass, which has certain properties of the animal. So age relation will give you uh, the idea that what is the base class and what is your subclass. Then there is another relation, Hatch relation. The Hatch relation means containership. So inheritance means age relation, and what do you call Hatch relation means like every book has cost. Every big book has cost. That the meaning is that cost become a part of a book. That meaning is that book, every book contains cost. So cost is a container, or the book is a container which contains cost. Same way, I can say every person has date of birth. So date class. So date class is becoming part of every person. So has relation uh, is giving you containership, while is a relation will give you uh, inheritance. And from is a relation or has relation, you can very easily identify which is the larger class and which is the smaller class. So having done that, now I come to my uh, more assess modifiers or specifier. As you know, so far, we are using private member or public member class. So of a class, a member can be private or it could be public so far. But in the case of inheritance, because it's important, a member can be private or a member can be protected or a member could be public. Since public is very understandable, it is commonly used. People have been using in the C also, because every member of a structure is always public. So public is not something which is to be debated upon, or which is to be discussed about. However, private, protected, and protected public has to be discussed about. So if a member is declared as protected. As far as there is no inheritance, then protected and private is same thing. In the base class, protected and private, same meaning. Protected in the base class uh, behaves as if it is private. So protected specifier is important when you are having inheritance. If a member is declared as private, then only its public member function can assess it, or only friend function can assess it. So there are two functions which can assess a, a private member of a class. And outside it, none can assess it directly. They cannot assess. And an example I have given you, and I have taken also the case in my class where a member function is private, and I said to you yesterday, such a member is accessible, and then I give you example and the program. Then if member is declared as protected, the meaning is very clear that you are not bothering about base class. In base class, it will behave as if it is uh, it, as if it is private. But in the derived class also, the public member of the derived class can also assess the protected member of the class. So just see that protected are inaccessible outside the class, but they can be assessed by any subclass or derived class of that class by the public member function. So while if I come to the what you call private, then private members cannot be assessed outside the class by anything other than uh, the public member function of the class, or a special function which is friend function. So do you have any doubt about that? Please, we will discuss when I give you time to discuss about it. So that's what the private and protected is. If I take example, then I create a class called parent, and I declare a data member as integer type whose ID is of the parent class, ID protected. And then I create class called child where the public parent, so that meaning is that a public class can, it is inheriting the publicly the parent class. So protect member become protect in the derived class. That's the meaning. So if I don't do so, then there are problems. So protect member will become protected in the child class also. I will come to all these things later on. And then I have a function which is public function, and then ID of protected is given. जो मैं दे रहा हूँ. So the parent's ID and child ID is the same. That's the meaning. It is inheriting the same ID. That's the meaning. And then I'm displaying the ID, nothing else. So simple program, but I have declared the member of the base class as protected, and my derived class is publicly inherited from the base class. And so protected member become protected in the derived class. And so my public member of the derived class can use that member, and ultimately the way I want to write my program, I can write. And I have given two what you call function here. Now I use it, then I say child object 1 And since member function of the derived class can assess the protected data members of the class, base class, so I can write object set ID 81. तो मैंने IG और उसको मैंने डिस्प्ले करा लिया. That's all. That's all. Nothing else. So this is about how if my base class is having protected data member and I am deriving publicly. I am deriving publicly, right? So that is what this example say. Now I include another example where my data members are private. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So I have class called circle, and my radius of the circle is a private data member, and I have my two function where the first function get the radius of the it asks the user to give the radius of the circle, so that you can recognize that this circle is of this ratio. And then I have another what do you call function called compute area, where I pass a value which is value of the radius, and then I can use it, and then I can compute its area, and after computing the area, I print the radius. I have not this data here, and I radius and the area both are printed here. That's what my base class is. It is having two function and a private member. And then what I do is that I create a class cylinder. And cylinder, as you understand, is having base as a circle, and it has some height. So many times circle, you have height. So that's what it is. So you have private member height of the circle h. Now please try to understand. I am inheriting circle-based class publicly. When I say I am inheriting circle-based class publicly, the meaning is that my private member will be private, my public member of the base class will be inherited in the derived class, and none of the function of the derived class can access private member of the base class, because private thing is not accessible by outside the class unless you are the friend function or you are the public member of the class. So, but anyway, this inherited the public member of the class. So I say void get h, that is get the height. So you try to ask the user to give the height of the cylinder, nothing else. And then I write something like double compute volume, where just see that I ask double R get data. So my compute volume can always I can use outside the function also, and within the function also can always assess public member, because I am inheriting publicly. So my R becomes the radius of the circle of the base. And then I compute I put the formula pi r square h and then return it. So it will give the volume. Then I have the program. So I say my circle C, cylinder CY. So I have two objects. One is of the base class, other is of the derived class, and then I say C dot compute area 1.5. So we take the radius as 1.5. Accordingly, it will do the needful. And then I also say uh, double V cy dot compute volume. Cy dot compute volume, and height will be has to be there. So, oh, I'm sorry, please. Height has to be there. So I have defined my height, and then I ask for volume. So Cy is having your height also, radius, it will be taken from there. And then I create the volume and I print it. So I don't have to put here Cy dot. Okay, okay, okay. Get data is there. Okay. So control S. So this is what you have the program where radius as well as volume is given. I'm not printing H. That's why I'm not printing, because get H is I needed the this, so that is there. If you want, you can modify the program. Okay. So that is about, yeah. If you have any problem here, please you discuss with me. I will explain what I'm doing here. So that is about what you call your second my thing where data member was public. Now I come to different modes of inheritance, and please listen me very carefully, because this is the thing which is being asked number of times, whether you know inheritance well or not. So what I mean to say is, I have base class, I have to create a derived class. When I want to create a derived class, my base class can be inherited publicly, can be inherited in protected mode, or it can be inherited privately. What I mean to say is, uh, when I write this class cylinder public circle, so this public can be protected, this public could be private. So the moment I write protected, the meaning is not the same. And same way, if I write private, the meaning is altogether different, which you have to understand. So if my base class is having protected or private data member, then anyway, private data member can be assessed by public data member of a class. However, if my derivation is in public mode, then the private data member of the uh, class is not inherited by the child class. However, protected members of base class will become protected members of the derived class. And that's why protected specifier or assess modifier was introduced. It is something between private and public. If my member is private, it cannot be inherited by uh, derived class. Private is private and it cannot be inherited. Only public member of the base class can assess it, nothing else. However, if there is a protected data member in the base class and I derived publicly, then this protected data member is inherited by the derived class. That is the meaning. Because I am deriving protected way, so my base class protected member become the member of protected member of the derived class. And that meaning is that very simple, that this become protected. So my derived class, that is A give B, B give C, C can also assess them. That's the meaning. But my age having something private, it cannot be assessed directly. It is not a member of the even of the B class. And so it cannot be inherited further. That's the meaning. Okay. So only you have B had its own data member, which could be private or public or protected, but nothing to do with A. That's the meaning there. Okay. So that is the meaning. If you derived your derived class publicly from the base class, then the private member is not directly inherited by the derived class, first thing. Second is that protected members are inherited by the what you call uh, derived class. And so any public member function of the derived class can assess the private or public if it is a member of the base class also. Okay, because the public member of the base class will be publicly inherited by the derived class. When I say my mode is public, it means that private will be inherited as private, cannot be inherited. I'm sorry, private cannot be inherited. Protected will be inherited as a protected, and public will be inherited as public. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay. Now my second assess modifier could be protected mode. When I say it could be protected mode, meaning is that uh, I'm writing here public, which I have just discussed. This could be protected, that class cylinder protected circle. So in that case, both public as well as protected members of the base class will become protected members of the derived class. So please understand, the moment you say your assess age from the uh, derived class, from the base class, age protected, it meaning is that even your public member become protected in the derived class. That's the meaning. तो जो भी प्रोटेक्टेड मेंबर है, प्राइवेट तो कोई आएगा ही नहीं, पर जो जो मेंबर प्रोटेक्टेड है इन द बेस क्लास, वो डिराइव्ड हो जाएंगे, और इवन द बेस क्लास के पब्लिक मेंबर है वो भी प्रोटेक्टेड बन जाएंगे. They will behave as if they are private of the derived class. I hope you understand that. And then your things could be what do you call private mode thing. So if we derive what do you call uh, if we derive child class from a private base class, then both public and protected members of the base class become private in the derived class. Private तो आते ही नहीं है. Only thing is that कि आपके जो public and protected member है base class के, वो सब private बन जाते हैं. So your public members also become private in the derived class. Now I take some examples and you have to understand those examples. So my first example is about as I said, tell you, every student is a person. So I have my base class of person and I have my derived class of student. So I have, and there is an example of container shape because as I told you that every person is having a date of birth. So H class. So that's why I'm including my date.cpp program, which we have already discussed in the in yesterday. And so the date class can be used here. And since I'm manipulating a string, I will be having string.h here. Then I create my class person, which has a name, which has a date of birth, and which has a address. So address, name at the most 30 characters, address at the most 80 characters. So do you need more? Please change them. Please change them. Or you can define something like size 1, size 2 here, and size 1 का आप जैसे we need उसकी दे दीजिए. Then I have a public member void set data and void this waiver to give you output. And I have what you call uh, three what you call my constructor. One is the default, other is what you call general constructor, and this is the copy constructor. Friends, I have given this thing in this way because, please understand me, because uh, I don't have to give my implementation of the function. Since I am the author of or writer of those program, this is my copyright. If somebody wants to use my person class, I just say कि person में ये data members हैं और person में मेरे पास ये 5 फीचर्स हैं. एक कंस्ट्रक्टर है डिफॉल्ट, एक कंस्ट्रक्टर है इस टाइप का, एक कंस्ट्रक्टर है इस टाइप का. मैंने कोई पैरामीटर पास नहीं किया, मैंने प्रोटोटाइप दिया और मैंने कहा कि मेरे पास दो मेरे फंक्शन है. पहले का फंक्शन का काम कीबोर्ड से इनपुट लेना है और दूसरे का काम उसका आउटपुट देना है. बस आई हैव टू टेल दिस मच. मैंने सेट डेटा कैसे बनाया है, डिस्क डेटा कैसे बनाया है, मेरा पर्सन का प्रोग्राम कौन सा है, ये सब मुझे नहीं बताना है किसी को. This is I'm telling you because this is very small program, but larger program you don't have to tell. This you have to let everybody. This is the thing which you have in my program, nothing else. How I am done all that is not for you. This is for me. That's all. So then I create my what you call set data function, which is return type is void. So please enter the name of the person and name is entered. Then I'm using a date of birth and date of birth must have get data function there. तो date of birth से मैं उसकी date of birth ले लूँगा और जो कि मैंने यहाँ यूज किया है. और then see out, please enter your address, scene address. Similarly, this data, so name, then name ले लिया, date of birth को मैंने डिस्प्ले कर दिया. ये फंक्शन जो कि आपके डेट सीपीपी में है वो मैं सीधे यूज कर रहा हूँ और आपका और उसको मैंने इंक्लूड किया. उसका मेन फंक्शन नहीं है वहाँ पे. और फिर मैंने एड्रेस को मैंने ले लिया. And then I create all 3 objects, sorry, a constructor. So default constructor accordingly created. Then what do you call the what do you call your this is a general constructor which is created, and this is what your what do you call your copy constructor is created. And then so So this is over here. So please let me make this class complete. Okay. So I have created my base class. Now I create my derived class called student, public person. So I am inheriting all the properties of the person publicly, all the properties of the person publicly. And then I have introduced a private member of the student, that is a roll number. And since I've introduced everything publicly, so the public member of the uh, base class become public member of the derived class also. And then I have what do you call void get data, void this data, student default constructor, student what do you call your uh, mm, what do you call your general constructor, and student copy constructor. And then I write main function. I write main function where I have created what you call your my student as student one. I get it data, I display it, and then I copy constructor is used in the SCG2, and then I use it. So my main example is that I have given 4 or 5 example to show you that how well to use what do you call your public member modifier for the assess. That is, my class is derived publicly from the base class. So this much I would like to do at present. So do you have any question, please? You can ask one by one. Yes, please. Hello. Hello, are you hearing me?
Hello, Mahima.
Hello.
Hello, sir. We are
Ah,
hearing you, sir.
okay, okay, okay. Any question, anything, any doubt which is to be discussed?
Hello, Mahima present here. Hello, Bhumi. So Mahima is messaging me, sir. There are no queries, so you can continue, sir.
So I give 10 minutes off. I will take around 12 o'clock.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir. So participant, we have a 10-minute break, and then we will continue again.
Public, then I have public member function void get ij, void disp ij. I'm not, uh, so many times I have given you a program. Now I'm not writing the program for the same. This is for you to write the program. My job here is to just tell you how to do that. And then what I say is that uh, I derive a new class Y, and I derive publicly where int k. What is the meaning is that uh, when I say public X, the meaning is my get ij and disp ij are no longer publicly available to me. No longer publicly available to me. And hence, only my uh, derived class public member function can assess them, nothing else. So those functionality I have given. So I have a derived class Y which inherits X publicly. So I have a publicly, so public member become public member here. And if I write here protected, then a public member become protected. That's the meaning. So my actually I mean to say this. So I write that. So what I say is that it is protected. It is protected. That meaning is uh, I have my base class which has protected data member and public uh, two public data member function, and then I uh, create a new class Y which inherits X in a protected manner. What is the meaning? Meaning is that the base class members become protected for the derived class. So your data member was already protected. So it is becoming now protected in the derived class. Since you have two uh, member function publicly, but public member function also become what you call your protected in the derived class. Though I am not writing here, they are, it is hidden. Meaning is that void get ij, void disp ij, and int I int j. These are available to me in my derived class as private member, member. And int k is the member, new member in the class Y. So then I say public void get k. And while I'm getting k, I'm using get ij. Please understand, since I'm deriving void get ij, void disp ij, and what do you call your int I, int j as protected manner. So this is a private, that is a protected manner. Then these functions can be used by my derived class public member very easily. And so why I'm writing get k, and get k can assess protected member of the derived class. So I am using get ij, and functionality you have to give yourself c in I, c in j. And then I say enter k equal to c in k. So that is what my, I have used my protected member, but I am getting output here. Now same way, void display of the Y class, then I say disp ij. So you have already written what is how to display I and j. So disp ij will be displayed, and then I display the value of k. That's all. That's all. So what I mean to say is, when you declare a member of the uh, derived class, when you declare protected mode of the uh, base class to derived class, then your even the public member become protected. And so only public member function of the derived class can assess them. Now I use them. So I say XX, X is an object of capital X, which is this class, and my Y is an object of derived class Y. X is capital X, so this can assess directly. This is a public member function for capital X, so it can assess it, it can display it. But if I write Y dot get ij, this will be an error because I've changed now. I've changed now. So this will be an error because get ij is not public member function of the derived class. And so is this, which is error because this ij is not a public member of the derived class. And so I cannot I cannot use with y, not at all. So this is the error which will be given to you by the compiler, and so it cannot be used this way. But however, you can use y dot get k, y dot display. So please go through the program. If you have any doubt, you can discuss with me at the end. Then I come to another example, and there let's have uh, okay. So my job was, please ma'am, I'm taking one by one. So when I take public, then your public member will be becoming public here. That's my job here. So that is what I'm doing. So public member become public here. So without any problem, I can use here. Uh, that's what I'm doing. So I can do that without any problem. The last program remain as it is. I can access anytime outside or within a function. Now I take same thing, same class X, but I inherit it in a protected manner, so same program, and I inherit that I just discussed, and then I write x x y y, and then I say x dot get ij. I say x dot disp ij, very correct. But writing this will be error. So this is error because I have just mentioned to you. Because I just mentioned to you. So this will be error because protected member becomes protected in the derived class and public member too become derived class. So the member function or member of a derived class cannot access member function, protected member function directly. But however, get k and display will be able to use them, will be able to use them. Then I come to what you call your uh, example 4, where my uh, uh, I am deriving in the private method. So the moment my base class is the same base class, and then I derived my class by private, and when I say private, so even your public member become private in the what do you call your derived class, and so my derived I cannot access data member directly and function directly, but my since they become private in the derived class, so what I mean to say is my my public member become public of members of the X become private in the derived class. So indirectly I can use them. Indirectly I can use them. So I am using get aij same program. Now I say the same thing x x y y, and as you understand, this is the error directly. So this is error. This is error because it cannot be assessed. And then you have public member can access the private member function. So that is what happening here. So the program is okay. Now you would ask, everything is same, then how two things are different? The two things are different in their functionality. What I mean to say is, your private, whatever is private, is not inherited in the derived class. So if you go further, they will not be seen at all in the, so A will be B will be having the private member of A and public member of A too, in this case as private, and my B will be what do you call, uh, deriving that, um, but C cannot use the private member now at all, because um, uh, they are not given in the class at all. They are not to be seen there. They are not there. So protected can be inherited by the derived class, but private cannot be inherited by derived class of a base class. So that's the message I would like to give you. Then I come to more thing, that is what we call overriding. Now, when I say overriding, then when I say my function is what do you call, uh, so overriding is a property of the inheritance, and this is also part of the polymorphism. When I say it's a part of polymorphism, what I mean to say is that uh, if your base class is having a function whose signatures are the same in the derived class, however, the implementation is different, then this is called overriding. This is called overriding. So a base class can have a public member function, and it has its implementation in the uh, base class, and then in the base class, whatever the property you have, then uh, you are deriving the properties of the uh, base class into the derived class. If you don't override, then the properties of the base class and derived class are the same. But if you override, that is meaning is that the properties of the base class, the feature of the base class is not same in the derived class. For example, I take this example where I have a class called 2D vector. So I have a class called 2D vector, and which has values x and y. So there are two values in the 2D vector, as you know, two component, first component and second component. And then I'm not writing other things. If you want, you can write here other things, and my program become longer, and I don't have time to write everything also. So I just give you, I introduced one public member function called get magnitude, and return the magnitude of the vector. And as you understand, the magnitude of the vector is a real number, which is I writing double here because I'm using square root. So I'm finding under root of x square plus y square. Then I have a class called 3D, and this class of 3D will have uh, what you say is that a float jet, which is a public member function, and then I will get magnitude of uh, this class h, not the previous one, because my vector is now 3D. So magnitude of 2D and magnitude of 3D, they are not the same thing. So they are different. So what I mean to say is that you have this this edge. Please, can you hear me or not? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Oh. So what I say is that the property of 2D uh, magnitude is overridden in the 3D magnitude, because now new formula h is square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So that's the way this property is called overriding property of the derived class. And indeed, it uh, happens quite often, but just please. This is- Okay, so this is what I say that my uh, overriding property is. Then I come to very important features of the what do you call your OOP. When I say OOP, object-oriented programming, uh, and uh, its important property of OOP is that uh, your function can be virtual functions. And this is possible only in case of inheritance. If you are using inheritance, then you can have uh, the virtual function. Now, what really mean by virtual function? Please try to understand me. Uh, those of you who know a little bit of good programming, I encode my code, I compile my program. While compiling the program, if at all there is some error, that error has displayed by the error message are displayed by the compiler. I remove the errors. The moment I remove the errors, my program become error free, and hence it is compiled. It is compiled. Now, the moment I compile it, then I have to link it to get my what you call uh, exe file. So when I link, you should understand that, as I told you in the other class in the beginning, that when you're linking, the corresponding functions are binded with the parameters which you are having. So what are the objects which you are using in the program? They are binded together at the compile time, because uh, they have to be. कि कंपाइलर को पता होना चाहिए कौन सा पैरामीटर कहाँ यूज हो रहा है, और ये रिटर्न टाइप का क्या देगा, ये चीजें बाइंड हो जाती हैं उसी वक्त. दैट इज द जॉब linker is doing. Now, if I declare a function as a virtual function, if I declare my function as virtual function, then it is a message to the linker that this is not to be binded at the moment. It is to be binded at the time of running the program, actually executing the program. और उस वक्त वो देखेगा, दो you are calling function as virtual, which is written in the program, but रन टाइम वो डिसाइड करेगा कि बेस क्लास के साथ इसको बाइंड कर ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ बाइंड करना है, या डिराइव क्लास के ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ इसको बाइंड करना है. सो दैट्स व्हाट द बाइंडिंग विल बी डन at the time of runtime. So that's the property. That is your results may be different than what you expect if you have not properly binded or you have not given the proper things. And this happens only when you are passing the object by reference, by pointer. So pointer is important. You are, which address is to be taken. That is what I mean to say. Uh, just see that those of you who studied Java at all, that Java does not have a virtual function, because by default they are virtual. By default they are virtual, so they are decided at the runtime. Java doesn't define the virtual function at all, and all the parameters are passed by reference. So what I mean to say is, a virtual function is a member function which is declared within a base class and is redefined by a derived class. तो पहली चीज तो है कि वर्चुअल फंक्शन की जो प्रॉपर्टी है तभी आपकी आएगी जब ये बेस क्लास में वर्चुअल डिक्लेयर किया है, उसका कुछ प्रॉपर्टी है, और वो प्रॉपर्टी डिराइव्ड क्लास में आपने override kar di. So overriding is already there. And then when you refer to a derived class object using a pointer as a reference, then of the base class, then you can call a virtual function for that object and execute the derived class version of the function. तो जिस पॉइंटर जिस जगह को पॉइंट करेगा, क्योंकि बेस क्लास का पॉइंटर भी डिराइव क्लास के लिए लागू होता है, तो आपने डिराइव क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट यूज किया और पॉइंट कर रहा है वो बेस क्लास को, तो वहां का व्हाट यू कॉल वर्चुअल फंक्शन रन होगा, अदरवाइज डिराइव क्लास का. तो दिस इज व्हाट is there. So that's why virtual function ensure that the correct function is called for an object. This is happening only when you are having passing by reference, regardless of the type of reference or pointer used for function call. So that's what it is. Now, as I said to you, because this is uh, postponed or defer until the runtime by the compiler. So compiler doesn't bind the virtual function with the objects. It is defer at the time until the runtime. At that time we decide कि कौन सा function use करना है, base class का या derived class का. And that's why it is called running runtime polymorphism, or it is called dynamic polymorphism. So static polymorphism is nothing but your function overloading and function overriding. And dynamic runtime means overriding with virtual function. That's what runtime over thing is. Function are declared with virtual class only in the base class. They are not declared virtual in the derived class. They are in the derived class, they are overridden, nothing else. So it is the virtual class, virtual function is created in the base class. And resolving of function call is done at the runtime, which is running polymorphism. So it is compiler is not binding them at the time of compiling, compiler or linker. Okay. Some rules for the virtual functions which are to be used. Virtual function cannot be static. Single copy नहीं हो सकती. That's what it is. A virtual function can be friend function of another class. Can be. Virtual function should be assessed using pointer or reference of base class type to achieve runtime polymorphism. The prototype of virtual function should be the same in the base as well as derived class. क्यों? क्योंकि overriding property है. Overriding property है, इसका मतलब है कि दोनों के सिग्नेचर सेम होने चाहिए. they are always defined in the base class and overridden in a derived class. It is not mandatory for the derived class to override or redefine virtual function. In that case, the base class version of the function is used, और उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है, फिर वो जो आप चीज समझना चाहते हैं वो चीज नहीं मिलेगी आपको. That's all. A function could be virtual function in the base class, but you are not overriding it. तो ये तो ऐसे ही एक्ट करेगा जैसे कि वर्चुअल है ही नहीं, इसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. So that means if you want to use it as a virtual function, then it ought to be overridden in the derived class. Then I take an example where I include my iStream for the input output, and I'm not giving other things. I say class based public virtual void print. So मेरा print function है ये virtual type का है. इसका मतलब ये है कि बेस क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट प्रिंट करना है या कुछ और करना है, ये डिराइव क्लास में क्या लिखा है उस पर निर्भर करेगा. तो आई हैव डिफाइन माय फंक्शन एज वर्चुअल. मीनिंग इज दैट कि कौन सा प्रोग्राम रन होना है ये रन टाइम पे पता लगेगा. Then I have shown show function where base class के object को हम show कर रहे हैं. So that's what my base class is. Then I have a derived class function which is uh, you have as public base. So you have base, then you have, so my base class is publicly inherited in the derived class. So मेरे public member यहाँ भी public member होंगे, पर मैंने यहाँ पे void print दोबारा लिखा है. इसका मतलब है कि my intention is that I am overriding, and so this is overridden, that it should print derived class object, not the base class object. And then so this is also overridden. This is also overridden, but it is not a virtual function. It is not a virtual function. So is here also, so is here also, but so is not a virtual function, while my print is a virtual function. Then I use in the derived class, and when I use in the derived class, you should, as I said to you, you should have pointers. So base star BPTR, that is, I have a base class का pointer, जिसका नाम है base pointer, और मैंने derived class का एक object D लिया, और pointer को m%d, इस आप समझते हैं इसका मतलब कि मैंने d का एड्रेस बेस क्लास के पॉइंटर को असाइन कर दिया. And then I say virtual function binded at runtime. So then I say bptr print, and I say bptr show. So non-virtual function binded at compile time, and ये इसको जो है वो BPTR है, पॉइंटर है बेस क्लास का, बट आपने BPTR m%d से किया है, तो ये आपको शो करेगा डिराइव क्लास, शो करेगा कि ये आपको डिराइव क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट प्रिंट करेगा. हाउएवर आपका बेस क्लास का पॉइंटर है जो कि बेस क्लास को पॉइंट करता है, और आपने असाइन किया है डिराइव्ड क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट. एवरी डिराइव्ड क्लास ऑब्जेक्ट इज having inherited the property of the base class, and hence when I say print, ये base class को point करेगा. ये बेस क्लास को पॉइंट करेगा, unless I have a pointer of the derived class, then only derived class की चीज को प्रिंट करेगा, अदरवाइज ये बेस क्लास को पॉइंट करेगा, क्योंकि जो डी की प्रॉपर्टी है उसमें बेस क्लास की भी प्रॉपर्टी है, तो बेस क्लास की तरफ पॉइंटर कर ये पॉइंट कर रहा है, वहां का एड्रेस ले रहा है, उसमें ड्राइव क्लास की भी प्रॉपर्टी है, पर प्रिंट अब डिसाइड करेगा, तो ये बेस क्लास को डिराइव करेगा, ना कि आपके व्हाट यू कॉल योर डिराइव क्लास ऑब्जेक्ट प्रिंट. So this is what I have to do today. Uh, just see that I have written 34 uh, slides. I thought I will take around 2 hours for that. And anyway, so uh, 34 slides I have shown to you, and this much which I want to do in the virtual function. Now, first is if you have any questions, I will take those questions. Then if you have to say to me that please do this, then I will take that also. Otherwise, tomorrow I will be using file, and the day after tomorrow I will writing some application program for you. So that's what is my thing. Now, should you have any question, please do ask me.
Hello, Mahima. You are present here.
मेहमान नाराज हो गई, मैंने कल उससे क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया तो नाराज हो गई.
उसकी थोड़ी तबीयत इश्यू है सर, तबीयत खराब किया.
Yeah.
1 minute, 1 minute सर, मैं पूछता हूँ. हेलो महिमा.
Hello.
हेलो महिमा.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Sir,
afternoon.
I'm
If
not
you
having any query related to.
you can ask.
No, I have given in the 2 lectures around. So any query in the morning, I mean to say 11 to 12, and now any queries or any suggestion, let me any comment, let me discuss about. Yes, please. Hello. Hello, can you hear me, please? Yes, please. Hello.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible, Mema.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear?
Sir, just got one query
Yeah.
related to runtime polymorphism. That can we have any program related to runtime polymorphism also, which we can practice?
Yeah, this is the program which I have given here. This is the program which will be decided at the runtime. This is the program. And if you want to see something more, then I can write some name and so you can understand what is happening. Hello. This is the program which virtual function I have used here. And this is the print base class. So then that meaning is this is the base class and this is the derived class. And then I declare my base class pointer PPTR and I have my derived class object D and then pointer BPTR is assigned to M%D. Now please try to understand me. Since I have object of D, which also contains the property of the base class. So जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि डी में बेस क्लास की सभी प्रॉपर्टीज आपने इनहेरिट की हैं पब्लिकली और जब पब्लिकली इनहेरिट किए हैं तो मतलब डी में बेस क्लास की भी प्रॉपर्टी है और डिराइव क्लास की भी प्रॉपर्टी है पर मैंने क्या किया कि इसको असाइन किया है पॉइंटर को M% से तो जब M% से मैंने इसको किया है तो ये this is a pointer of the base class. This is a pointer of the base class, but I have assigned it to what you call your derived class. So when I BPTR print, now here comes the runtime binding, whether it should print derived class or base class. That's the question. Are you getting my point or not? So that's the question, whether it should print derived class or it should print what do you call base class. So what I say is that uh, you should run the program and see what is the output. What I feel is that according to me, it will show you base class because the pointerage of the base class assigned to the derived class, which contains also part of a base class, and hence, though your pointerage of the your objective of the derived class, this will the print of base class, the print base class that will be printed. However, when I come to show, then BPTR show, then it will be connected with the because this is the not virtual function. So is not a virtual function. So it will not be decided at the runtime. The binding is initially done. Binding is initially done. And hence it will show to you the what you call your show of the derived class, show base class. And as I said last time, and I'm saying again, please run the program. If you want to make the point clear, I can give tomorrow 2-3 more program of the virtual class only, virtual function only, not virtual class, virtual function only, if you need. So that suggestion I ask for you, from you. Just see that
Yes, sir.
writing so many program really is a headache for me. Uh, I take only one.
Yes, sir.
So that's the point. So many things is not shown also, but if you want, I can give 2-3 more programs so that the point made is clear.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, moving on to the next question. Sir, one of the participant is having a query that can he call protected member functions directly from main function also?
Protected member function directly from the main function also. No, no.
We
Only
can't call.
public member function. I just tell you that in the base class, if I declare any member as protected in the base class, it will act as if it is a private, as if it is private. Only difference comes when I write inheritance, that is when I derived it. अब ये है कि प्राइवेट मेंबर कैन नॉट बी मेंबर ऑफ द डिराइव्ड क्लास, whereas the protected member can be a protected member of the derived class if you are uh, 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 deriving publicly or protected way. If you derive privately, then the story is different. So, yeah, I understand, but I cannot cover everything in this thing. But the point is that protected member, as far as the only class is concerned, they behave as if they are private in the base class, in the class under question. प्रोटेक्टेड मेंबर का फायदा तब दिखाई देता है जब मैं किसी चीज को ड्राइव कर रहा हूं, इनहेरिट कर रहा हूं. Protected member can be inherited, whereas a private member cannot be inherited. So I made this point clear when I take properties of the protected and just see that. If we derive child class from a protected base class, then both public as well as protected members of a base class will become protected members of the derived class. Otherwise, मैंने प्रोटेक्टेड की बात की है, तो यहाँ पे protected assess modifier is similar to that of private assess modifier. The difference is that the class member declared as protected are inaccessible outside the class, but they can be assessed by any subclass. Private member cannot be assessed even by subclass. Protected member can assess it in subclass. So that is the advantage. ये मेरे जो दोनों चीज लिखी हैं यहाँ पे. Yes, please.
Okay, sir. Thank
No,
you, sir. Sir, the next question is, sir, should I?
yeah, बोलिए बोलिए.
Hanji. So we had an example in which in the overriding functions that we return the square root of that vector. In the slide of overriding functions, we return the square root of the class 2D vector.
I come.
So in this question,
I
Hanji,
come
sir.
to that. I come
So
to that.
in
This
yes, sir.
this is overriding. Return square root of x square plus z square. So this body is not same as this square root of x square y square. ये प्रॉपर्टी क्या कहती है कि 2D का जो स्क्वायर मैग्नीट्यूड है वो 3D के मैग्नीट्यूड से यदि उनके x और y कंपोनेंट सेम है उससे डिफरेंट. मेरा मतलब ये है कि दोनों के फॉर्मूला सिमिलर है पर सेम नहीं है. ओवरराइडिंग प्रॉपर्टी है to show that. But if you want, I can take another example जहाँ पे कि प्रॉपर्टी ऑल टुगेदर ही डिफरेंट है.
Hanji, sir.
Yeah, what
पार्टिसिपेंट वांट कि एक और प्रोग्राम आ जाए जिससे उसको पता चल जाए कि बेसिक डिफरेंस हम किसी और प्रोग्राम के थ्रू भी पता कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि पहले हमने क्लास जो ली है वो 2D वेक्टर की ली है और बाद में हमने 3D की ली है.
हाँ, because 3D has properties of 2D. उल्टा नहीं हो सकता. जब मैं देखिए 3D का मतलब है कि मैं प्लेन से जा रहा हूँ 3D में, तो प्लेन इज ए पार्ट ऑफ 2D एंड आई कैन राइट ए प्लेन जिसका एक चीज कांस्टेंट हो और बाकी सब तो वो 2D जैसा एक्ट करेगा. और वेक्टर स्पेस पढ़े हों तो 2D का वेक्टर स्पेस 3D के वेक्टर स्पेस का सब वेक्टर स्पेस होता है.
Hanji sir.
Hmm.
So sir, we can do one thing. You can give the participants questions so that they can practice practice all the all the topics that you covered today on their own computers, and they can then ask their doubts later on.
Okay, okay. So uh, I gave some questions today. Let me, and then they want to discuss tomorrow, then I can discuss that. Okay.
Hanji sir.
Yeah, please. Hello.
Yes, sir. Participants, you may note down the questions that are present on your screen. You can practice these questions and then you can come with the doubts. You can tell me the doubts tomorrow. Please note down the questions. I'll share the screenshot also of this question later in the group also.
I just, if you take screenshot, then take this.
Yes, done, sir.
Yeah, now, any other question, please?
Yes, sir. One
Yeah.
of the participant is asking that in the function overriding, the modification is done only in the function body, or can we change the parameter also?
No, no, no.
We can't change the parameter.
Because as I said, please, you ask the question and it's better to understand, because unless you ask the question, you cannot understand the thing. Uh, and the one who asks the question is really having what do you call uh, urge to know, I must say. So what I mean to say is that when I have what do you call your overriding function, yeah, overriding functions, then I have said here the signature of the base class and the derived class is the same, but body is different. A base class public member function is called overridden in its derived class if it is just its signature are the same. Signature must not change. इसका मतलब है कि प्रोटोटाइप जो बेस क्लास में है वही डिराइव क्लास में रहेगा, एग्जैक्टली सेम ऑर्डर है। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि इंट ए और फ्लोट बी है और आप लिख दें यहाँ फ्लोट ए इंट, नो, देन द सिग्नेचर आर डिफरेंट। सो actually same prototype which you are writing in the base class has to be there in the derived class. Otherwise, what you are doing is not function overloading, but function, sorry, not function overriding, but function overloading. Because signature become different then. So it become overloading. Hello.
Okay, sir.
No, please.
Thank you, sir.
No, if you don't understand, please ask me, because then I will tell this is the way it is different.
Okay, sir. I'm waiting for the participant to respond whether he or she has understood. Understood, sir. He has understood the thing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
No, sir. That's all for today. I hope that participants have cleared up their doubts regarding to today's session.
No, somebody has raised the question. Somebody has raised the hand.
Uh,
Sandhya,
yeah, sir. I'm checking.
Sandhya Pandey.
Sanya, are you having any doubt?
Any participant, if any doubt, then he can write in chat box.
No, she's just asking for the questions to be sent. Okay, Sanya, I'll share you the screenshot of the questions.
Uh, so I have given the questions. If somebody discuss with me, then let me tell you that first. Let me know what is the brief for the tomorrow lecture. I'm going to use file handling in the C++. But should I give some example of the virtual function or not? First thing.
For tomorrow's session, you are asking that
Yeah, yeah.
whether
Tomorrow session, I have already told that I will take file handling in C++.
okay, sir. Okay, okay.
So that file processing or file handling, I say file handling.
Okay, sir. Okay. The
And
participants are, some of the
participant,
participants are,
if they are asking more examples for the inheritance or virtual function, then I will do that also. Let me know what I am to do.
so we can do one thing. You can, as you explain the topics with one example, you can give the participants questions so that they can practice it on their own computers and then they can come with the doubts to me
Mm.
in the next session. We can do this thing
So
because some of the
already,
participants are interested in practicing.
I have already given example for everything which I am teaching today.
Yes,
Given.
sir. Okay, sir.
So give me more example. That's what I understand from you. Hello.
Okay, sir. Uh, we can do this thing as you have given the question today. They can practice it, and for the tomorrow session, you can give them as a homework.
What I mean to say is when I am teaching, okay, so we can do this thing. Let me
Yes, sir.
tomorrow first I will take file processing, right? And then we will discuss
Yes, sir.
questions of today. And if at all there is something for tomorrow lecture also, then I can discuss that also.
Okay, sir. That's completely fine.
Completely fine. Okay. Okay.
हाँ
क्या
हाँ
हुआ
जी
भाई?
सर.
आज क्या हुआ? देर से किया, क्या मतलब था, क्या ये तुम
सर नेटवर्क बहुत ज्यादा
yeah,
दिक्कत दे रहा है
yeah,
आज.
yeah, I can
कनेक्ट
understand.
नहीं हो रहा आज सर.
I can understand.
मैंने बीच में से ही समझने की कोशिश करी.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so that's all.
हाँ जी सर.
Any other thing? Otherwise, I will.
ओके सर. कुलदीप सर आ रही है.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your today's lecture. Your today's lecture is very interesting and full of knowledge. So once again, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Should the student have any question? They can interact me after the classes also. I mean, my classes will be over on 27, but thereafter also they can interact with me if at all they have problem.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Okay, participants. So we meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m. So join tomorrow on 11 a.m.